Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deb Sofield, and you're listening to my weekly podcast series called Encouragement for Your Life. Most of you know I'm a national speaker, trainer, and coach. I like to say I help people find their voice and learn to use it. I'm also a conference speaker on the topics of public speaking, presentation skills, how to deal with the media, and crisis communication. I've got a number of other presentations on my website if you'd like to check those out. If your organization has an upcoming conference and you need a keynote speaker, I hope you'll reach out at debsofield.com. I would love to be a part. I've got a number of great books on the market. My best-selling book, Speak Without Fear. My book, Perfecting Your Platform. Both of those are on Amazon and Audible if you like to listen to books. And my series, Encouragement for Your Life, which is a compilation of these podcasts, they're available on Amazon, volumes 1 through 3. Just go into Amazon, type in my name, Deb Sofield, all my books will appear. I've got a great show for you today, and I'm calling it Start and Finish. I'm Deb Sofield. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned. We'll get started right after the break. Recently, a client called me about entering a competition. She wasn't sure she wanted to go through the hard work, early mornings, late nights, the stress, the pain, the hassle. So she called her favorite coach, Deb, and asked what I thought. I understood that she would have a lot of work to do to win the race. And honestly, I was tempted to let her off the hook this time, to focus on her work, build her career, to push her to the top. And then I realized, looking back over our last year together as her coach, how far she had come in just 1 year of working toward her goal. So I said she had to sign up again and work through it. What I saw in 1 year's time was a rebirth of self-confidence, a new vision of herself, and her ability to be the best at what she did. What I saw through the tears and pain was a discovery of her true self, that if she could find the courage to love that person, she was on the path to life success. So you may wonder, why did I push her? Because I knew through the tears and the pain she could do it. And over time, she would learn the skills and the routines, the programs and production that would build a foundation of success, even if she didn't feel like it in that moment. I know that's not what she wanted to hear, but just call me Tough Love Deb, and I'll be by your side as we move you to the next level. Why? Because I have found that too many times people ask friends for advice, hoping to hear what they want to hear and not what they should hear. Hey, I'm as guilty as the rest, but in my life, my friends tend to be just as bold and blunt as I am. A few years ago, I don't know why I did it. I thought it was a good idea at the time, and it is. It just was a little hard to take. I asked 3 friends to give me constructive feedback about my personality, my demeanor, my manners, my graciousness, and my leadership. I mean, here's the fact. I strive to go to the next level and the next and the next, and I want to be sure that the things I had done were correct, and was I on the right path to do what I needed to do to be outrageously successful. So 3 of my friends who I knew cared about my well-being were going to be my judge and jury. Now, let me just say here at the start, I'm fortunate to have friends in my life who have my back. I can remember all 3 of them sent me letters back, and they started the same way, very cautious about what they were going to critique me on. But then they got this courage to speak truth to power. Because I had requested it, and I was willing to make a change, if I could, really focused on my intention. They said things that I knew were not up to par in my life, and then they offered sage advice about things I needed to work on, from my loud and booming voice and personality, inside and out, to my forcefulness when gentleness would have worked just as well, to my chatter about a few folks who had done me wrong, and I continued to ruminate about it years later. Frankly, they were tired of hearing me bellyache. Have to admit, it was eye-opening and a bit humbling, and I still have their letters in a file they sent back to me. Occasionally I read them just to make sure I'm still working on me to be my best. How about you? Have you ever considered allowing someone who loves you to write you a letter about your personality, demeanor, manners, graciousness, and leadership? Hey, it's just a thought for those of you who strive to climb higher. And if you want to really develop the traits that you admire, sometimes you need a little help along the path. I picked those 5 areas because they are places in my life that I've always wanted to develop. I'm sure you've got others. Personality. Am I consistent, even-keeled, and kind? Demeanor. Does the look on my face reflect my heart? Do I carry myself with grace? Manners. I grew up with 4 brothers, and we could finish a meal by the time my dad had finished saying the blessing. Eating that fast in social settings is not good manners. Bless my mother, she hammered social grace and manners into all of us, hoping it would take hold. Do my eating quirks distract from my conversation? I know that proper manners show class and status. Am I, Deb, living up to my upbringing? Yes, I am. Graciousness. For me, it was about being thankful and kind, slowing down to smell the coffee, and let others shine in their light. I had an elderly friend who I would take out for lunch occasionally, and she would always be like, Deb, you gotta slow down. Smell the coffee, smell the roses, see the sunset. And I used to think to myself, she just doesn't get it. I don't have time. And as I've gotten older, I realized she did get it, and I still have time, even though I act like I don't. My next goal is leadership. Leadership for a lifetime. Not that I'm just seen as a leader, but I do lead well and I lead others to success. It's very important to me. So I came across a few articles that talk about leadership and I picked out some of the highlights. Leadership. It's a lot easier to climb the ladder once you've let go of the bottom rung. Learning to trust yourself. The next one, it's a lot easier once you leave the safety of the shore to get into a boat and rock along with the waves to find a path. It's a lot easier to grow your circle if you seek out like-minded and grounded friends who want to succeed and are proud to call you friend. Those who build you up and don't tear you down. It's a lot easier to develop your true self by listening to that small voice within you that speaks words of kindness. It's a lot easier to go farther with the guidance of others who gently pull you back onto the road from the rut you've been living in. It's a lot easier to live your best life once you commit to doing the hard work to better yourself for your future. It's a lot easier to read a book from a library than spend hours online just wasting time scrolling with nothing to show for it. And it's a lot easier to rest when you've done the hard work on yourself, for yourself, when you stop and are grateful for the gifts that you've been given by your Creator to reflect on others who bring joy to your life. I know I say it all the time, but I am blessed in the work that I do. I was so pleased to receive a nice note from one of my favorite young people. And for the record, they're all my favorite young leaders. She had succeeded at a project that she was working towards and wanted to thank me for walking along with her on the journey. Not just as a mentor, but we ended up being friends. In my training section, I usually ask a standard question. It's a good interview question. What's the greatest gift you can give another person? Now, for most of us, the standard answer is love and time and kindness. But one day I asked this question, hey, what is the greatest gift you can give another person? And I was really surprised when she said, tumbler cups. What? I said, tumbler cups. Yeah, my client went on to say, oh, Deb, I just love them and they're so useful. Well, I fell out laughing so hard at that answer, I just had to let it go. Her honesty and sweetness were not to be denied. So yesterday I went to the post office and there was a box and inside was, you guessed it, a very large tumbler cup with my initials on it and a note that said, Miss Deb, thank you for always building me up. I look up to you so much. I couldn't ask for a better coach. Love, Gigi. All I'm saying is that you and I touch lives every day, everywhere, and we make a difference whether we realize it or not. And I want to encourage you to continue through the hard work, the early mornings, the late nights, the stress, the pain, the hassle. Because if you start today, 1 year from now, 365 days from now, you will have a rebirth of self-confidence, a new vision of yourself, and the ability to be best at what you do. When you fight through the tears and the pain, no doubt you will discover your true self and find the courage to walk your path to success. And friend, I want you to remember this truth. Others are watching your journey. And your best teaching is to show them by your actions. I know, unusual story today, start and finish. But I see a lot of people start, they don't finish well. And I wonder, maybe you should have waited to start, because once you fail, it's really hard the next time. So make a plan. Put a plan into place and work hard. So friend, when you start, you know you will be successful at the finish. All right, you've been listening to Deb Sofield's Encouragement for Your Life. I want you to join me next week. We're going to continue this journey together as we work towards a better day. And remember, Deb doesn't care what the world says about you. I want you to know that I care about you, and I care about you because a lot of you have started, and I want to stay with you until you finish, and then we can start a new project. And I'm going to walk alongside you as we follow your dreams for success together. All right. Thanks for joining me. Take care, everybody. Join me next week.